Hello there, in this episode we're going to be talking about how to interact with grass with our character in our Android game. As you can understand, the renderer in Android game is ES3.1, which is DirectX. It's not DirectX, it's OpenGL. OpenGL is pretty old. As you can see, we go towards the grass and they just move away from the character. If you're working with DirectX, it's basically done with the distance mesh distance mesh fields, which is not available in OpenGL. What is OpenGL? It's the Android previewer or ES 3.1 and 2, which in Unreal Engine 5 you're most likely working with ES 3.2. Okay, so we can't use distance mesh fields, but we can use the player's position. So you can just go ahead in the player's I'm using third person character, but for you it might be different. You can just come in here in default pawn class in the world settings. If you don't have it, just go into the window and you will have to enable world settings, and you'll have it here or anywhere else, but you can just move it around like this. In going to a character, for me, I just created a custom event, name it something. You can name it here, or you can just double click on it and name it something else. And then you have to create a collection, a material collection. So go into your, for me it's in here, it's in my foliage folder. Right click in the material, you have material parameter collection. Just left click on it, name it something, and open it up. You have two options to add parameters. One is scalar parameter. In this case, we want something called vector parameter, which it's a four-way parameter, which we have x, y, z, and alpha we don't really use. But in we're living a 3D space, so we need x and y and z in our world. So we need a vector parameter in here. Just add something using this, add element. I don't need this one. Then you have to name it something, parameter name. For me it's called player location, and hit save. All of them can be set to 0, we don't really care. Then in the third person character, in your character blueprint, just type in set vector parameter, not in the graph collection. I want the one in the collection, not in the particle setting. Okay, material, I mean the material, oof, there are a lot. Set vector parameter value, this one right here. And then find the collection you just created. I've called it MC underline grass, so I'm going to type in grass, find it. And the parameter I want to change is player location. What is player location? I'm just going to get actor location. So right click, type in get actor location like this, and then connect it, and that's just like that. So I've already created this one, I don't need this. So we've already created the custom event. The custom event for me is called player location update. So what I'm going to do next is I have to do it in event tick. If you don't want to use event tick, you can create an event by timer by event, and then set it on loop, and maybe loop it for every 0.2 seconds. But it's gonna be really obvious in the game, and players will really notice it. So I don't really take that risk, you know. So I'm just in my event tick, I'm just going to type in player location update. Yeah, this one right here, and that's gonna be processing it every frame for me, and that's it. So this is what we had to do in the player character. Then we have to go into the mesh that we want to have this in. So if I want to have it in all of my foliages, they will have to share a material inside them. So what is this? So for example, this one, I want to go through this one. I want this to be interactable with my character, so what I have to do is go into the material, find the parent material, and then use the world position offset to do my thing. It's just a piece of code here. It's nothing complicated. All you have to do is just drag this one, the material collection, in here. Make sure the parameter name is set to player collection, and then you'll need a world position. Just type in a world position like this, and then just do whatever you see here. The distance, we need a distance from XYZ here, so distance is just type in distance, this one here, and then divide, just type in divide. So XYZ comes in here. Mask should be RNG from the player location, component mask. We want all three axes of world, so we want X, Y, and Z, so that's all pretty important. And then this one comes here, subtracted, getting subtracted from player location. Subtract is just called subtract, this one right here. And then we should be normalizing it. Just type in normalize, nothing complicated. And then in here, after divide, we need a distance, so hold S, type in distance. It will be a scalar parameter later on we can use in our material instance. And then we'll have to clamp it. Just type in clamp, this one, from 0 to 1, and then 1 minus 1 minus this one right here, and then hold M for multiply, and then we need the texture coordinates. Just type in texture coordinates, comes up. Nothing's changed actually, everything's set to 1, and then we only need the component mask of G, so like this. You just disable the R and all you're left with is the G value, and then 1 minus again, 1 minus, and multiply it by itself, like power of 2, and then this one comes in here, and then another multiply that comes after normalize, so multiply, another scale parameter, so hold S and type something, name it something, and then you have to append it, append vector with itself, so it's like 250 250, and then append with another parameter which is 0, so 250 250 0, and then multiply it by the value here. Let me delete this one, and then multiply it all together, and this goes into the world position offset. If you're using a grass material function or a simple wind or any kind of function for your wind, then you have to add this function to that wind as well. If you are using a quality switch, then you have to prepare everything the way I did it. So default is the everything, and then medium, for me medium is that, and low high epic is gonna be different. Low's not gonna be having anything, and high and epic is only gonna be having the wind without the interaction. And that's going to be it. This is the base material, so later on we have to just go ahead and right click, create material instance, and use those materials in our mesh, in the material slots. So these materials should be a reference to the parent we just created. And this is pretty much it. It's gonna be processed on GPU, so it's not gonna be complicated. It's gonna be really really fast. The only downside it's got is the event tick. Everything's based on the event tick. It's not that complicated though. It's just constantly make sure that they get the active locations set in the collection, so it's not going to be really really that performance heavy, I suppose. I didn't have any problems with it, to be honest. In most cases, in most cell phones, even normal and phones, the performance is like pretty much nothing, so it's completely useful. Then you'll just create the material instance and set it in the mesh. You'll just drag the mesh in the foliage and start painting, and then you're gonna be left with a lot of foliages that are interactable. Yay! I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button, and I wish you a great day. Bye.